everybody. Welcome back to the Combo Couch. I'm Fiorella.
And I am Pasta Jardula.
So we did want to talk about a couple things today. It's a short segment. I wanted to address an issue with the Dccc, issues that many of us have been very aware of because we've been working with campaigns and on campaigns. And I'm in several group chats with people where we've discussed how progressives have been under attack by the Dccc, which is the equivalent of the DNC, but on a state and local level. So they do hold a lot of power. Mm-hmm. One of the things that happened today, there was a report by The Intercept. Lee Fang did a story in which one of the candidates running for Colorado's, I believe, 6th congressional district, it's near Aurora and Denver. Mm-hmm. He's running against an incumbent Republican. He's a progressive. His name is Levi Tilleman, and he's running under a progressive platform. He has been under attack by the Democratic establishment, and he's been told to actually drop out and to basically bullied into being just giving up and supporting the selected candidate named Jason Crow, who's a corporate lawyer. Mm-hmm. And this is just one example of what's been going on. So Levi basically recorded an audio in which he's talking to Steny Hoyer, who's the second to Nancy Pelosi. So he's the second most powerful Democrat right now in the House, and he's trying to be Speaker of the House. So he has a lot of clout and power. And in this recording, you can hear him say that they already selected Jason Crow, mm-hmm. that he just needs to stop, back him up, and just, you know, just not run. Yeah. And then Levi asked him, but you know, why, blah blah blah. He's like, well, this is how it is. This has been going on forever. Yeah. You know, this is just what we do.
He really didn't have an answer. He kind of said, we picked him first.
It was very much like, I don't know if you guys remember in the X-Files, the smoking man from the X-Files, the government guy. Like, it was just very like, yep, we selected him. He's going to win. We've put out all this funding for him. We've thrown in all this money. So either you're backing him or you're against us, and you're going to be at fault for a Republican winning again. And that's what they do. And this is just one example.
I don't understand how they keep on doing this. It's like, don't participate in the political process, please. I mean, even Ro Khanna came out and said, if you're a Democrat and you're running in the party, you should want a primary challenger. It brings out the best in the party when you have a solid primary. And what a primary does is when you have somebody who's independent, grassrooted, to the left, it drags the centrist towards the social needs of the people. So why wouldn't you want to have this going on? We see this in District 48 too, in Dana Rohrabacher's district. Harley Router people are trying to convince all the other candidates to just get in line and back Harley. No. Participate in the political process to the end and run your campaign.
And not only that, they do send people, they send mailers in Chicago. We saw it happening with Marie Newman and the Alliance of Progressive that Chicago had. There was pamphlets sent saying that these progressives were Trump supporters, they were teabaggers, which was all proven false. They wasted, I think, close to $20,000 in ads against progressives. Yep. That was in Chicago. Then there was also in Atlanta, where Joe Trina is running, one of our burner friends, and he got sent a bag of dicks and in the mail. By Democrats. All of this is by Democrats.
A bag of Richards.
It's not by Republicans. So Democrats or progressives have to fight a two-front war because they have to fight the corporate Democrats and then they have to fight the Republicans and then sometimes they have to fight everything in between. So it's ridiculous. And Democrats, as we've said many times before, as many of progressives have said, would rather lose to Republicans and win with progressives, and that's what they keep doing. Yeah. And one other instance that has been happening Dennis Kucinich, the same thing.
They said the Assad sympathizers are funding him and paying, and they're just two peaceful guys that were born in Lebanon that want peace in Syria, and so he took money from them because they want peace in Syria, because they're Christians who see Christians getting persecuted in the Middle East from the terrorists that the United States government is funding, and they smear him for it because it's another progressive, and that's what they want to do, is kneecap them at all cost.
And then Laura Moser in Texas,
another one,
when the Dccc made up lies about her, it backfired. And I remember a group of us even donating more money to her campaign because we were so angry that they were resorting to these tactics, right? Because they have no valid reason. It's not like any of these candidates are bad candidates. They make up a reason, and the worst part is they call it controlled research opposition. They call it this fancy name to make it sound like it's something normal when it's not.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know. Can I transition to this? Because it's just not thwarting Republicans in the United States, progressives in the United States. This is not the only place they get not talked about, where they don't get the proper media coverage. We've been hearing left and right, Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump. And now, just hours ago, a peace agreement. For the first time since World War II, a North Korean leader has walked across the parallel into South Korea to shake the hand of the leader over there. And you haven't heard this guy's name. It's not because of Donald Trump calling him Rocket Man and saying he wants to have a burger. It's not from Kim Jong-un listening to Dennis Rodman. It's from my man, Moon Jae-In. You hear it? A progressive leader. He won. He won last year his election in South Korea because they were sick and tired of the conservatives just running the country into the ground, being corrupt. In fact, their last leader, Park Geun-hye, was impeached and sentenced to 24 years in prison. So the country went very progressive. They went liberal. He was a civil rights activist, Moon. Okay, he was the first one to write policy on peace agreements between North and South Korea. He's defended activists in college who have gotten arrested. He's gotten arrested himself for protesting the authoritarian government years ago. He stood up for union workers and has been fighting for the people all along. And guess what? He got elected, and today history was made, but nobody in the Western media talks about him. They say, oh, does Donald Trump deserve a Nobel Peace Prize? No, it's all about Moon Jae-In. Take a look. Do your research. Look at this guy. Great story. Born in a refugee camp. From the bottom right on up, they have their own Bernie Sanders in South Korea.
And the thing is, the American and Western media aren't going to put this out there because it destroys the narrative that other countries are these warmongering countries that simply want to kill people and, ruin us. When in actuality, we are the ones that do that. Yeah. We are the bad guys. And they don't paint that narrative. They don't want to let you know that. And a lot of people don't want to accept that because it makes you feel like shit. But really, it's the truth. And we just need to operate on the truth. And that's the truth, that we can achieve peace, that we can achieve peace talks at the very least a handshake. Yeah. And that's so symbolic and significant because all we've been doing is promoting how evil the Eastern countries like China and North Korea and Russia are. Mm-hmm. But look, here's North and South Korea doing something that we can't do with someone like Assad without calling people warmongers and supportive of tyrants, which isn't true.
I hate when they call the people who stand up for some of these people who, and there's a video that Nico House posted the other day. Assad driving around his own country in a Honda, a humble man, just going out looking for his people. But if you stick up for any of these people, you're called an apologist.
And you don't even have to stick up to them. You can literally just say facts like, this doesn't make sense. He didn't do this.
You apologist!
They did it to Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
They did it to Dennis Kucinich.
Yes.
They will do it to anyone who doesn't follow the narrative, which is why we're going to continue speaking about Syria and speaking about what's going on with that, because people need to know, and a lot of people are interested. They just don't know where to start on Syria and the Middle East because it's such a complex subject.
Yeah.
And Dennis Kucinich was also on RT today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Larry King.
He really just broke it down. He literally said that, look, we're the warmongers. We're the ones that are putting out this narrative that's just not the case.
Yeah. He said he talked about how the deep state and political factions go behind their backs.
He
used the word deep state. They go behind the government's backs and they do certain things. They were brokering a peace treaty. Obama was sent John Kerry to get a ceasefire, but days before the ceasefire, they attacked a plant or an operation, a military base in Syria, killed 100 troops, and Russia pulled out of the deal. That wasn't the government. That wasn't Obama. That was the deep state at work doing what they always do. And now this is something to pay attention to. Moon Jae-In, the guy we just talked about, the guy who brokered this deal, who brought him on over, Kim Jong-un. He talked about having a burger with Kim Jong-un, but they elected him because of his liberal domestic policies. So let's pay attention. He ran as a Democrat, but he's a progressive Democrat. Let's pay attention to South Korea and see what happens, because this guy stood up for union workers. He stood up for activists. So let's pay attention to what goes on to South Korea economically, domestically within their state, and just see how a progressive government might work and have a chance for the people.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to make sure we emphasize the fact that we are looking at different media outlets. We are watching different media outlets. And the truth is that our mainstream media just paints things in a way that promotes a pro-war agenda. And that's something we definitely have to be very mindful of when we're just accepting the news that's been given. And if you talk to other people, other independent media, other bloggers, other people from the Middle East, they tell you a completely different story than what we're getting told. So someone's lying, and I think it's not the people who have a lot to lose from saying the truth.
So we're going to come back with another subject. We're going to go touch back up. We want to dive back into Syria soon. Talk a little bit about Assad, the White Hamlets. That's going to be in the news. So we're going to keep talking about it. But today we want to talk about something a little negative and positive. How we always know that there's bullies within the DCC. There's bullies within the Democratic Party. They want to keep progressives down. But across the seas, across the world, we have a progressive making moves and brokering peace deals, so it's something positive.
And one more thing before we go, there are 57 ex-CIA operatives, ex-CIA, running under the Democratic Party in congressional races. So that's not a coincidence. This is definitely a fight to maintain control. And I'm not saying it's just the Democrats. It's obviously the establishment as a whole. It really doesn't matter what you call them. And this isn't some sort of conspiracy theory. You can find this information online. I posted it on my Facebook page as well. There's a list of all these people that are going to be running. So it's all there. It's just, the information isn't promoted, and therefore people assume that it's false. But it's there. And I encourage everyone to look and open their eyes and start doing your own research as well.
Yeah. So when we come back on the Convo Couch, we're going to send those CIA operatives bags of Richards. We'll see you soon.